Hey, Alistair. Hello, Mark. All right. You could probably guess by the title what the point of today's broadcast is. So first thing I think I'll do here is the internet first. You guys get to see ZW in all his glory. I won't leave it up for too long, Alistair. I'm gonna give it a minute, let a few more people in. Hey, Dark Matter, glad you made it. I gotta turn down the volume on my monitor. All right, so good afternoon, everybody. Um, Full disclosure, I'm going to talk about how I injured my hand today. You guys get to see that. If you're not into that kind of safety talk or whatnot, feel free to not watch this one. Uh, I think I fixed the echo, by the way. I have not touched my lathe since it happened. Don't worry, Alistair, it's not going to get gruesome. I'll try not to get gruesome, but I thought maybe what I'm going to flip the camera here so you can see the piece. So this is the bowl I was working on. It's a very large piece of eucalyptus. I don't know if you guys have worked on eucalyptus, but it has some interesting characteristics. In California, eucalyptus was planted to make railroad tracks and things like that. But what they didn't realize is it didn't work well for that because the wood grows in these really complicated spiral and weird wavy patterns. So if you look real close here, you can see it. See all that little swirl there? And what I have discovered is that, especially on these really big pieces, well, first, what's it for? My wife bought a new ficus plant. She wanted a pot it would fit in, so that's why it's so big. So there's that. You guys still there? I don't know. It seems like maybe the bandwidth is going in and out. Anyway, I'll continue. What I've found with eucalyptus is as you take wood off of it, I'm not blaming the wife. She told me not to do it. she thought it was a bad idea, so there you go. As you take mass off the eucalyptus, the fibers inside flex and relax and stretch, and so your balanced piece, normally when you're woodworking, as most of us know, you get to a point of balance and then it's easier, everything stays the same. Well, eucalyptus doesn't do that. It likes to change shape on you kind of in real time. So I was having a lot of issues with this one kind of going out of balance on me. So that was like issue one. And I don't know how you avoid that with eucalyptus other than just real shallow cuts and just be cognizant of it. But the real culprit here, if you guys look here at my tool rest, this is exactly how I left it. So I was using this tool. You might notice it has a little bend in it now, right about there. So that's a clue about how hard this hit my hand. But and I was working on the inside of this bowl. Now, most of you who watch me know I like to reverse turn. So I like to go the other side. I couldn't do that with this bowl because of the mass of it. It wouldn't stay on the chuck if I did that. So I had to keep this live center in there. And so I couldn't do what I like to do normally, where the steady rest would be straight across and I'd be working on that other side. So I'm in the bowl working this way, and you can see the drastic angle of my tool rest here. So normally when you're working on a piece, you've got your tool rest parallel to the piece, and you're working. If there's a problem, it's going to kind of just push you out and away from the tool rest, right? Well, and this is probably common sense to a lot of y'all. Most of you who know me know I didn't go to any classes or anything. I just sort of learned by watching YouTube. Some of you are guilty of that too. So I was inside this bowl and I was coming around to the outer lip. You can see where I caught right here. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a nice big divot there. As I was coming around this turn, the angle was changing such that I got a catch. So when it threw me out, my finger connected with the tool rest. Normally your tool rest would be out of your way and you just slide along it. But because I had this crazy angle, I got tossed out. And this bowl, even now, I mean, it started out really heavy. But even now, that's probably, I want to say it's like 30 pounds of wood. Hey, Billy. And 30 pounds of wood spinning at about 700 RPMs has some power. So basically the very end of my ring finger, I'm going to come back and, let's see here, hold on a second. All right, let's get back in the picture here. Just want to let you guys know I'm not a robot. So, no squeamish details because I don't want Allie to leave. So, the very end of my ring finger caught the edge of my tool rest. It's kind of distracting watching all these comments. Anyway, caught the end of my tool rest just past my last knuckle. And you can imagine the force of 20 pounds of wood spinning, throwing your half-inch bolt gouge, your fingers in between it and your steel tool rest. Some of you might have saw the x-ray on Instagram. But so learn from me. Think about that angle of that tool rest when you're inside that bowl. Like I said, most of you probably that maybe already know this. So if I'm telling you something you already knew, then it's reinforced now. So far so good on my finger. It seems like it's healing and I won't have to suffer any further reduction in my totality, as it were. But another little point, I know all of us who are on YouTube get a lot of safety Nazi comments and stuff, and one of the common ones is don't wear rings. And I was wearing my ring, and it had nothing to do with the injury. It didn't catch, it didn't injure me, but taking my ring off when the end of my finger was in the state it was not a good idea. So there you go. Absolutely, Billy. Fingers should always be behind the tool rest. And like I said, I was behind the tool rest, but I had an angle. So instead of missing the tool rest, I hit the tool rest. And that angle's not going to help you. So Billy's 100% right. Think about where your tool rest is. And I knew better. Honestly, I would have moved and reset my tool rest. Let me switch this over. Oh, this is tripod's giving me a little bit of trouble. But let's see if I can get this to. I would have moved this tool rest, but I was probably being, it was just this little piece that I need to move it for. It's an inch of wood. It's going to take 2 seconds to finish it, and then I was going to move over here and work on this some more, take a break from hollowing, and that's all it took. So there you go. So since you have me here, and I've told you my gory story, I figured since this is kind of my live debut, showing my face and all that stuff, if you guys wanted to ask me any questions, I'd be happy to answer them, as long as they're not national security risk or anything. Dark, I think it's going to be a little while just because I did break the bone clean through and I did almost remove part of my finger, so it's going to take a while to heal. So I'm going to follow my wife's judgment and not turn until I can, be sure that I'm ready to do that. And then I think I'll probably not be jumping right into a giant piece of eucalyptus right away. So you guys might see some small stuff in my future as I ease back into it. But I'm not giving up the hobby or anything, if that's what you're asking. No comment, Alistair. If I told you, I'd have to kill you. So I'm trying to see if we have any other. Ask me anything. Have any of you guys had similar experiences with that weird flexing thing that eucalyptus does in real time? What am I going to do while I heal up? Watch a lot of YouTube. My son has decided he wants to do YouTube videos, so I'm going to teach him how to, and he's going to be doing Lego building. So I don't know if all of you guys are into that, but that's probably what we're going to work on while all my gear is down. Yeah, I have a real job. That's why I go by Zombie Wood Turner. I've been trying to keep my personal life separate from my YouTube, my work life, etc. So I can talk kind of loosely about my job, but I work a regular 9 to 5. And thankfully, this isn't going to impact that at all. No, Alistair, I didn't see that one. I'll have to go look for it. My son has done some stuff on my channel. Some of you might have been around long enough to have seen a stop motion Zombie Wood Turner Lego video that he built. It was kind of fun, where he had a little Lego guy turning a big old block of wood on a toy lathe. He built a lathe and stuff. It's little piece in one of my videos, but I think he's planning to buy a set and then film the whole thing and then do like a montage of it when it's done. And he has this idea in his head, he's going to become a billionaire. So when we get our first video up, I'll let you guys know. The bowls on the wall are a mixed bag. I've got some keepers and I got some crap and I got some just random stuff up there. I'm sure you guys know when you're in this hobby, you end up with more bowls and vases and things than you know what to do with, and you don't sell them all. So a lot of these are, my daughter messes around on Etsy with my stuff. So some of these are just waiting for someone to buy them, and some of them are just, they're there because that's a place to put them. Exactly. Before you start turning it, it's usually firewood, right? Then you turn it and you think it's not firewood, but it kind of is. So I guess what determines its value is if somebody else wants it. For me, it's about the making of it, and once it's made, I'm kind of done with it. But it's nice to have steady stock of gifts when people need gifts. So yeah, thanks, Dark Matter. I know, you're absolutely right. It could have been worse, and I've always said, your risks going in, and you got to pay to play. So just know what you're doing, and if you don't feel comfortable, then that's on you, and stop doing what you're doing. And I'll be honest with you, 2 or 3 times on this bowl, I felt like I should have stopped. It's something. It's not worth it, and I just wanted to push through. So that was on me. Um, Made a bowl out of an ash log from a firewood pile. Okay, I'm gonna try to hit some of these questions. So one of them says, how do you identify driftwood? You know what? I can't always identify it, but I am a biologist in my training, in my degree, and I've worked with a lot of plants and things, and so I'm able to kind of do some work that way. But also, you just get to know what wood looks good and what it looks like. So like you find a piece of redwood, you kind of know how redwood is, and you know what redwood is. So I've turned a lot of things I have no idea what they are, and I just mystery bowl. Jen wants to see you want to see my bent tool? I don't know if you can see that, but it's got a nice little curve in it. That's a 1/2 inch gouge. So I don't think I could bend that if I wanted to. I was waiting for somebody to call her out for that. So, if any of you are wondering, when 2 pieces of steel connect with your finger between them, it doesn't feel good. And your finger doesn't do so well. Hey, all of you, you'll notice Minnie Allison says good night as a greeting. I think that's a language change. So she's not saying goodbye. She's greeting us as she joins us in the chat room. Good to see you, Alice. All right, enough about the tool. Thanks, Terry Frey. I appreciate it. So I didn't want to belabor the PSA at all, but I also didn't want to just disappear off YouTube. So at least there's a record now that sometimes the safety guys are right, but you got to mitigate your own risks. So, and trust me, if you do what I did, you aren't very comfortable for a while. So there you go. Happy wood turning, right? What is the most common wood in your part of California? Well, you guys know I turn a lot of ceanothus, which is a burl wood from the California lilac tree. All California lilacs have a tendency to develop a burl in their root ball. And those are real common, especially when we have a lot of wildfires, which that never happens in California. Um, After a wildfire and it rains, a lot of those burls end up on the ocean, in the ocean, and on the beach. So I used to find a lot of those when I was down in the Santa Barbara area. We recently moved a little bit north of there, and I don't see as much of that here. Up here, I see a lot more redwood and willowwood. Um, that's awesome red stuff. Yeah, that's the ceanothus. I do have manzanita up here though, which is the other awesome red stuff. So I still have a pretty good pile of ceanothus in my yard, including one huge burl that I can't hold myself. But I don't foresee that thing being turned as one big piece. I think it's going to have to be broken up or used for something else because it's just too big. What did you work on as a biologist? I've done a few things. I started out as I worked in the desert in Nevada, and I did desert tortoise work, and then I did a bunch of botany stuff for the university herbarium, worked as an environmental consultant before I I spent some time in the Peace Corps, so I lived in Africa for a while, and then I ended up in my current career. It is freaky being on camera. I've been keeping a low profile, Jen, and I didn't know how to have this conversation without throwing my face into it because I don't know, it seems like kind of a personal topic, but yeah, Alistair, you might have figured it out. I think Jen figured it out too. That book you're referring to, some of the stories in the book are loosely based on true stories. So you could probably figure out my career if you've read that book. Hey, Billy, what kind of biology do you do? Ease up there, dark matter. I'm married. A pity. I understand what you say. Sorry, watching. Ichthyology, cool. Yeah, I work with a couple of ichthyologists. All right, Philip, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate your views. From fish to bugs, huh, Billy? Interesting. So I see Pond Art just came in. I won't give the whole sort of detail, but the short version is that I got my tool rest is at an angle that was not good if you get a check, and I was lazy and didn't adjust it, and I got a catch, and it threw my tool into the tool rest, and my finger happened to be between the two. So I got to experience some pain. You know what? That's a good question, Mark. I'm trying to think how to do that because the only photo I have is on the phone that I'm currently broadcasting on, and I don't know how to. It's out on Instagram, so I'll show you the piece. It's exactly where I left it. So the piece is fine. You can see the catch though, right there. And easy. Someday, hopefully ZW will get the courage to finish it. But yes, it hurt. Gotta worry about the important things. Thanks for the thumbs up, Alice. Uh, it's about half the depth it should be, and it's for a fairly large ficus plant, which I'm pushing it. So it doesn't have to be neat inside. So for this one, I might someday just get out my Lancelot carving tool on my angle grinder and just hog it out. But I kind of like the idea of getting back in the saddle. So we'll we'll think about it while I heal up. Billy, interesting small world, man. You're now you're talking about a ranger. That's interesting. Anyway, go read Zombie Wake and see if you can guess what I do for a living. Pond art, that's a good idea, but maybe I'll burn it with a Lichtenberg device. That could be kind of exciting. There's Moon Woodworks. Hey Moon, I don't want to bore the whole crowd by going back to the beginning, but when once this thing posts, go back and watch it. You'll get the whole story. Exactly, Alistair. And once it's made, I don't care if it gets a little. My wife kind of likes it when they start to warp a little bit. So I don't have a problem if it gets wet inside and all that stuff. You got it, dark matter. Don't let it out. Don't let the cat out of the bag. 'Cause you never see my face in those ads either. Yeah, read the cliff notes. Jen wrote them up just fine for you. Big ouchie bendy tool. That was my nickname in high school. All right, well, I'm kind of out of material for you guys. I'm happy to continue doing questions. Some people have asked about some of the homemade tools I use and stuff, but I've been pretty open with sharing those. I like that idea, Alistair. Bonsai trees are small, so you can make small pots. I find that anytime someone says anything odd or weird, if you just go, huh, that's weird, that was my nickname in high school, the joke usually works. So, my gift to you all, if you need some jokes for the bar or something. What you gonna make, Moon? Okay, you gonna go for the big fat scraper part three? Hey Lyle, yeah. So far, it's lost, but I'm told amazing things can happen with growth and all that, and it's crazy. I mean, if people want to know some details about what kind of treatment, I'll talk about that. But one of the interesting ones is nitro paste, which was originally a medicine for people with heart problems. It's got nitroglycerin in it. You rub it on your chest and it stimulates circulation. Well, they put that stuff on the end and start pumping blood in there to heal me, and it kind of seems to have taken a positive effect. So I got explosives in my system. For some reason, Alistair, about every third comment you put up, YouTube tries to censor it out. It just thinks you're cursing all the time. Of course, half the time you are being inappropriate, so I guess it's well deserved. Dark, I find YouTube's always on the fritz, but good to know. So, Moon, what kind of steel are you using to make your scraper? Well, considering you guys keep getting kicked out of YouTube, I guess I'm lucky. High speed steel from the Katana. Yeah, good name. You can have that one. You gonna make a video of it and show us all, Moon? Cool. I'll look forward to it. Samurai wood chipper. Well, I think I have to name this tool now. It's got to be something like breaker of fingers or something. Fingers Bane. I'll take suggestions. So what do you think? Should I leave the bend in it or should I try to fix it? Kind of gives it character. It's not that bad. Bone Breaker. I like Bone Breaker 5000. That's good. All my tools have 5000 in them, so that's a good one, Jen. The Bone Breaker 5000. Did you ever think 10 fingers was just too many? We got the tool for you. Do you? Peronis. I don't get that. All right. Well, we are hitting the 30-minute mark, and my mentor, Dark Matter, told me 30 minutes is a good time for online videos. So let's do 3 more questions if anyone has any, and then we'll bid you a happy Saturday. Thanks, Terry. And all right, Mark, we'll look that up. I'm sure I'm going to learn something tonight. they're, they're censoring you too now, Dark. Will do, Alistair. I'll once I get one in the can and a channel built for him, I'll let y'all know about it, and then you can help me spread the word. It'll make his day. Your reputation precedes you, sir. All right. Well, I think we're going to call it. The numbers are dropping fast. You guys have a good weekend, and thanks for tuning in and caring. It keeps me going in the hobby to know how many people watch my channel, and you guys are always so positive and nice. So I really appreciate it. Hey, Holly, I'm glad you made it. Um, it's all positive, and see you soon.